Idaho. I'm Dee Sarton. Imagine racing 100, 150, even 200 miles an hour. And now imagine racing that fast across the water. That's what drivers of flat-bottom boats do every year at the Burley Boat Regatta. And this year, those drivers saw some of the stiffest competition ever.
Here they come, the white flag, it's a start.
What do you get when you combine 70 high-speed racing boats with about 3,000 excited fans under 90-degree summer sun?
Rock and roll! Yes!
You get the hottest boat races in Idaho.
Fire and go! Fire and go!
Some of the fastest machines on the water go full throttle every year around this mile-and-a-quarter course on the Snake River. The crews come from all corners of the country to try their best in 8 different classes of racing. There's Pro Stocks, Super Stocks, and Grand Nationals, drag boats, competition jets, mini hydros, K-boats, and cracker boxes.
There's 2 different sizes. There's a 275 that can have any type of carburation on it, as well as on the 314 that it's a single carburetor.
And that translates to really fast?
It translates to about 550, 560 horsepower at about 9,000 RPM.
Altogether, there's enough engine power to cause major trouble and possibly blow the assets of these owners. But they say, win or lose, it's their pleasure to provide the high-speed entertainment.
It's almost like a rock skipping across the water. If you're ever a little kid throwing rocks across the water, you kind of skip in these boats.
They go like that.
You might call this the cracker box hop, and at speeds of up to 90 miles an hour. It's a wonder the crew of these cracker boxes don't get crushed to crumbs.
You think that your rear end would be tired from hitting the seat. The adrenaline level that you go through in a race of this nature, going that fast in a 15-foot boat, you don't feel a thing.
They got to be careful with the weights up there.
After 10 laps of skips, hops, and jumps, California driver Jerry Ross finds himself out front.
All right. Very good. We enjoyed it. Fantastic.
But in these high-speed races, there isn't always a happy ending.
Best I can tell, I hit a big swell, hole in the water. The bottom of the boat blew in on me, and that's all I remember.
It was a close call for Florida driver Duff Daly. His hull caved in at 90 miles an hour, hurling him from the boat.
I remember going along fine, and then the next thing I remember is smacking on the water.
Luckily, Duff walked away from the accident, but his boat is another matter.
It doesn't look real good for it, but you never know. You can do wonders with fiberglass. That's racing, as they say.
And as they also say, the show must go on.
Everybody out of the bathrooms, quick, 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 quick. You gotta pay attention because when they get to go, it's 6 seconds to the finish line.
Fans wait anxiously for the next class of boats to run, the fastest class in the entire regatta.
You don't hear it, you feel it. It's good.
These are the blown alcohol drag boats. In 1/4-mile stretch, these drivers will rocket to 200 miles an hour.
We'll put on a good show, I think, see what happens.
Oregon driver Tommy Wright is perched in the cuckoo's nest. As soon as he's towed into position, officials will drop the flag, and Tommy will pour on about 2,500 horsepower. That's enough to launch this boat from start to finish in less than 7 seconds.
More horsepower, more horsepower.
The water's ready. The air's good. It is awesome. Blown alcohol hydros, a pair. Rob Steele, Tommy Wright. How about that? 196 miles an hour.
Well, it wasn't quite 200, but still impressive to this enthusiastic audience.
When you hear that thing rumble past, you like it. You gotta like it.
Because it's awesome. The only way to do it.
It's a rush in itself to watch them. It's great, fantastic. Wouldn't miss it for anything in the world. Best thing to do this time of the year is come up to Burley and watch these guys run.
Winners in the Western Regional Championships here in Burley go on to the National Championships in Hampton, Virginia. Still ahead, hikers put away those boots. Coming up, we're going to show you a great way to see the Sawtooth Mountains without ever setting foot on the ground. Backcountry flying in Idaho has a rich history. It began in the 1920s when the first very daring pilots began buzzing through Idaho's high mountains. Their mission was to fly to remote mining camps with supplies of tools and food. At best, landing strips were small meadows cleared of trees. In winter, the planes used large snow skis to land on frozen lakes. Despite the difficulties, the supply planes were largely successful, and by 1929, Idaho's Postal Service launched the first backcountry mailman. Today, backcountry pilots fly in hikers, hunters, ranchers, and boaters. But you don't have to be any of these to take in Idaho's remote mountains. All you have to do is step on board an Idaho Scenic Air Tour. Central Idaho's Sawtooth Mountains are so rugged and steep that Shoshone Indians used to say the land here rises straight up like the side of a tree. But getting above the 10,000-foot peaks, or above the trees for that matter, is never a problem for pilot Pete Piva. As a veteran in the backcountry, Pete has logged hundreds of hours over central Idaho's mountains.
I'll get in and then you follow me.
Okay.
There you go.
From small backcountry airports like this one near Stanley, Pete takes visitors along on the ride of a lifetime.
You get a lot of different responses. Some people, it scares the hell out of them, and others just can't believe it. They're either going to love it or hate it. That's what I've found.
With a liftoff like this, passengers usually find out right away. The small runway is grassy and bumpy, and see the Sawtooths in the distance? Pete is headed straight for them.
It's just amazing. I mean, the mountains are just so big. It's amazing. I've never even been in this part of Idaho.
Jennifer Q from Portland, Oregon has never been in a small airplane either.
Just, you know, your big 747s, but in this little plane, it's, you know, you see the wings and they're right there.
And those wings are about to get so close to these peaks, it appears the two might collide. But Pete holds full control, and Jennifer finds out she likes the ride.
It's so exciting to be up in a plane and to see, you know, down below. You feel so small.
The one thing they hear the most probably is that they can't believe you can fly in those narrow canyons. And most of them don't know, they didn't realize it was here.
Thompson Peak, right off the left wing, 10,700.
Although it's summer in the lowlands, these high mountains remain trapped in winter. Many lakes are frozen solid. It would be treacherous hiking down on the ground, but the view from the air is spectacular.
There's just so much snow up there still, you know, in some parts it's so bare and you know, you can see the ground, and then all of a sudden, you know, you're over just a ton of snow, and then there's trees popping up everywhere too, and the rock formations, they're so neat to see.
It's pretty neat. You get in close to the mountains, you can see a lot of game. Feels good.
After a full sweep of the peaks, it's time to turn back. And as the plane sets down in the shadow of the Sawtooths, the bumpy ground brings the ride to an end. In the background, the jagged Sawtooths are back in their places, high above the valley floor.
Yeah, they are. Beautiful.
Yeah, it's a great mountain. I'd like to come back here.
Pretty exciting, and those air tours are available all the way into fall. Later on in the show, we'll tell you how to set one up for yourself. You know, it's always interesting to get a fresh perspective of Idaho, and sometimes that fresh perspective comes from some pretty unusual places. Jennifer Eisenhart joins us now with that story.
That's right, Dee. The fresh perspective we're talking about comes all the way from Japan, Brazil, Germany, and Denmark, just to name a few places. Recently, a group of international visitors camped out in central Idaho. But if you think they were roughing it, guess again. They stayed at the backcountry base camp called Camp Stanley. It's kind of like staying at a high country hotel. When the first van pulled into Camp Stanley, the outfitters running the place thought they were ready for everything.
Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Carrie. Did you have a nice trip?
Spicy kettles of stew are stewing.
Vegetarian black bean chili.
Hot coffee is brewing, and there's a cute young cowgirl with condiments.
This is cheese,
Yes.
jalapeno peppers, and sour cream.
I think we've got everybody here.
Okay.
It seems the organizers of this high mountain base camp have remembered every cushy detail. Even the polite Idaho custom of giving the guests bug spray.
That's where they always buy.
Look.
Yeah. The only thing these Idaho outfitters were not prepared for is how 22 foreign visitors from 12 different countries could all have only one impression of Idaho.
When I started about from Tokyo, I heard about some knowledge about Idaho is only potato only.
Well, I always heard that Idaho was the potato state of the U.S., so I was looking for all the plants to be here, but I just learned that was in the east, and I didn't expect so beautiful mountains and all the trees here.
Luckily, the scenery speaks for itself, and over the next 3 days, the outfitters are prepared to show that Idaho is a lot more than just potatoes.
We hope to show them that Idaho is, of course, one of the most beautiful places in this country to come and visit.
They'll go home with snapshots of a high mountain state where the Wild West has changed in some ways, but in many ways, it's still the same. We'll tag along for the high mountain adventure when Exploring Idaho returns. How do you give 22 visitors from 12 countries a true Idaho experience? You begin with the roots of the Wild West, cattle roping.
Just simply bring up your arm, swing it a few times, point, throw.
It looks simple enough, but German visitor Tom Welty finds this fake steer harder to lasso than a German lassie. Maybe the Germans should stick to sausages.
So it comes from the back here, and as we come up, then we, whoops.
Happened to me.
This group has just been real fun to work with. Very excited to be here and very appreciative of what we've done for them. So that makes us, of course, feel really good about what we're doing.
More and more people that are traveling want to do more things while they're out there. They want to be able to experience as much as they can. So instead of focusing on just one single activity, this allows them to go out and taste a whole lot of activities.
The next activity is close to camp and raring to go. These few brave visitors will saddle up for a ride near Redfish Lake below the snow-capped Sawtooth Mountains.
It's the most beautiful views that I see in my life. And I travel too much.
Oh, I seen a glorious country, I must say. I feel a little, it's like a cowboy. Just a little. I need a hat, I suppose, and then it's complete.
It's beautiful, and the people are very friendly and helpful.
I want to have that foot.
Ready?
Ready. Okay, 1, 2, go.
We're gonna go down the Salmon River. It's called the River of No Return. It's a great float. You'll see lots of wildlife today and stuff, so should be a lot of fun.
Spring runoff has the river moving about twice as fast as usual, so it will be a quick ride for the foreigners, but no less of a thrill.
One more. All right. Yeah.
They may have expected bucking broncos, but no one expected a bucking river.
Very good. Very exciting and very wet.
Yeah, all wet and then all dry and then wet again.
It's exciting. It's a little adventurous. So that's what I like.
It kind of reminds us what we're here for, because a lot of times you get so busy and so caught up in the business part of it that you forget how beautiful it is yourself. You know, so sometimes it takes guests or other people from other countries to remind you what a special place it is.
And after 3 days of adventures, it seems the visitors are not the only ones who've learned something.
You certainly realize how lucky we are to be able to live here in Idaho and enjoy all this all the time.
Because no matter where you're from or what language you speak, there's a common language in nature that speaks to everyone.
It really opens up the senses. It's not fairy tales that people write about it if you go to the mountain, but it does, yeah.
Ah, it's beautiful, beautiful. I lost also my words. It's very nice.
Oh yeah. I think I'll be back someday.
And you don't have to be a foreign dignitary to stay at Camp Stanley. Yeah. The Outfitters are booking trips for groups and families all the way into fall.
It looks great. No work. I love it. Jen, thank you very much. Speaking of other countries, do you know that Idaho has 4 sister states? Can you name those states or the countries they're in? We'll have the answer in our Idaho Puzzler when we return. Could you name any of Idaho's 4 sister states? Jalisco, Mexico is one of them. There's Shaanxi, China, the province of Taiwan, and Cheongcheongbuk-do province in Korea. Sister states promote trade and relations between those foreign countries and Idaho. An annual event in Idaho attracts musicians from across the country, musicians young and old. They converge on one small town in Idaho to play one style of music on one kind of instrument. It's the type of event you just have to see to believe.
It's Old Home Week for just a terrific amount of people.
Everybody starts coming out of the woodwork.
From Utah to Washington to Oregon, California.
Don't forget.
We're just from all over, and like I say, it's just a great festival and a great get-together.
For 1 week of every year, the small Idaho town of Weiser is transformed. A simple sign points hundreds of contestants in the direction of the biggest music showdown in the West, the National Old Time Fiddlers Contest. Isolated in another room, judges listen critically to every note, but sometimes even they get caught up in the swing of things. And while the competition is heated inside, outside, the jam sessions are just warming up.
I walked up here and these people said, hey, come and join, you know? And that's
I guess that's what's the neatest thing about it, is everybody's so friendly.
We go to a lot of contests in Texas, but this is one of the biggest ones in the world.
I just can't believe the talent that's here, and it's just a pleasure to play with him.
You go one spot and you learn from this guy, but you go to the next spot and somebody can learn a little from you.
If you admire something they're doing, they'll show you how they did it.
There you go, right there. That's it.
This is my first time at Weiser, and boy, have I had a blast.
It's amazing how fast those fingers fly. And you can attend the Old Time Fiddlers Contest every year. It's held for 1 week in June in Weiser. And if you'd like more information on the Old Time Fiddlers Contest or on any of the other stories you've seen on today's Exploring Idaho, just call and ask for the Exploring Idaho field notes. Be sure to request show number 137. We're going to leave you now with some more foot-stomping, toe-tapping, hand-clapping good music from Weiser. We'll see you again next time on Exploring Idaho.
Well, the first thing you know, Jed's a millionaire. Ken folks said, Jed, move away from there. He said, California is the place you ought to be.